Nourishing Solstice Sweetness, a solstice story by Reverend Ann Barker, with wisdom from Ilara Stefaniuk Gadet and Elder Sharon Jinkerson Brass. Animation by Ilara Stefaniuk Gadet. Welcome to our winter solstice story, Nourishing Solstice Sweetness, a lesson from the honeybees about feeding what is good and useful and helping one another to find our way. Grandmother Moon is high up in the sky, along with the stars. Some people say that the stars are the campfires of the ancestors. And here is the hive. It is winter, so the bees are sleeping. The bees are going to help tell our winter solstice story. Let's go gently and meet our new friends. See the sweet honeybees snug in their bee beds under their cozy bee blankets? It would be a shame to wake them. Did you know that bees dream? They really do. Before they went to sleep, these bees said that they wanted to help us tonight with our winter solstice story. So we're going to peek into their dreams. Good evening, bees. It's story time. We know that in the warm season, bees are experts at navigation, and they are also experts at teamwork. When one bee finds a good source of nectar is the precious substance they collect from flowers to make honey, they share the location with the other bees, so the others can help with the gathering. Bees use two really important tools to help them map their route from the hive to the flowers. Two compasses. Their first compass that helps them find their way and give directions to their friends is a celestial compass. That means they use the sun to measure distance and location by. Just like people have a compass that we line up with the north to help us find our way, the bees use the celestial compass to line up with the sun. Bees share the work of gathering nectar, so when one bee finds a new supply, it returns to the hive and shares that information with the others. To share directions with their friends, they do something really special. The bees do a waggle dance. The direction of the dance tells the other bees which direction to fly when they go outside of the hive. And the length of the dance tells them how far they need to travel. To use a celestial compass, it's important to be able to see the sun. But when it gets cloudy and the bees can't see the sun anymore, they use their second compass. And that second compass is their memory. They look around the landscape, looking where the trees and rocks and mountains and streams are, and they remember where the sun should be. And they use that memory to navigate their way back to the nectar. Once they have reoriented, using their memories of the sun's location, they share directions using the waggle dance again. Then the bees find their way to the flowers, and they bring the nectar back to the hive, storing it in the honeycombs, nourishing the sweetness needed to get them through the long, dark winter. No problem. Only sometimes there is a problem. The backup memory, that second compass, depends on the landscape being familiar. So if the sun is out, no problem. And if the sun is hidden, but the landscape is familiar, no problem. But if you take a hive and move it to a different place where the scenery is not familiar, and the sun is hidden behind the clouds, then the bees become disoriented. They feel confused. They aren't sure anymore. Their navigation systems feel broken. They need either the sun or the familiar landscape to find their way. When bees get disoriented, they have a very difficult time giving directions to their friends. Their waggle dance, instead of pointing in the direction of the nectar, starts to go in a circle. They end up waggling in a circle because they aren't sure which direction to go anymore. And they stay pretty much in one spot because they aren't sure how far to go either to get to the nectar. Their waggle dance is confused because they are confused. People have a lot in common with bees when you think about it. We need the sun for warmth and light and energy, and that helps us to be happy and hopeful and active in the world. When it's dark out, we use our memories like the bees do to remember the light and the warmth of the sun. And we rely on the familiar things around us, landmarks or touchstones, to wake up those memories, to bring us comfort and reassurance even when the sun is hidden behind the clouds or during the long, dark nights. Those familiar things can be nature, like the mountains and trees and rocks and streams, just like the bees use. But it could also be people. We feel better when we're with our loved ones, our friends or family, the people who feel like home. And sometimes it's the things we do, like making music, or having lunch at our favorite cafe, or celebrating a holiday tradition that helps us feel connected and settled, and we remember which way we meant to go. And, like the bees, if we can't see the sun, and we get separated from the important people and places and practices in our lives, then we tend to struggle and get confused as well. We can feel disoriented, like we're going in circles, not really getting anywhere, unsure where exactly we should be going. In the dark season of winter and during difficult times, it's more important than ever to find ways to connect with our memories and our touchstones to help rekindle the flame within us. So we hang sparkly decorations and we light candles to remind and reassure ourselves, to help us remember that the sun is still there even when it seems to be hidden. Or we build a bonfire underneath the moonlight, and we gather around it with our friends, celebrating the warmth and connection that comes from being together. In the very best of circumstances, when we remember what is good and joyful and important and bright, even we might do a waggle dance. At least, the people version of a waggle dance, whatever that may be. Just like our honeybee friends, we rely on the sun when the sun is shining, and we count on our memory and our touchstones when the darkness comes. We nourish one another with the sweetness of gathering, sharing memories and traditions and celebrations, sharing light in whatever forms we find it, to help us get through the long, cold winter, and to remind one another that the sun always returns. Good night, moon. Good night, trees. Good night, hive with all your bees. Good night, ancestors. Good night, snow. Good night, all the love we grow.